I don't know how valuable this distinction is, but in number 13, there's this difference between a resource and a reserve. And we talk about resources all the time, but there's this thing called reserve value. So resource is anything that's useful. That could be a bazillion different things. We don't have to go further. But a reserve is an assemblage of something that you can get. So like if you found a huge mine with a whole bunch of aluminum, you'd be like, oh wow, what a nice reserve of aluminum. This is not a super valuable resource, but at least I have this giant deposit of the material that's still a valuable reserve. There's a lot there that we can get. What's interesting is those things that are a common resource that is rare in reserves. And silver is a perfect example. Silver is spread all over the planet. Silver is actually pretty common. It shows up in magma all over the planet, in sedimentary deposits all over the planet. The problem is there's really nothing that shuffles the deck to make silver really common in aggregate. So there are very few reserves of silver. It's super common. You can walk down to the beach and pick through the sand and you'll find, a couple of grains of silver, guaranteed. Anywhere you are on the planet. You can go to Belize, you can go to the Congo, you can go to Australia or the North Pole or the bottom of the Marianas Trench, and you'll find a couple of grains of silver. But you're not likely to find a big chunk. So silver is expensive because it's a common resource, but not a very common reserve. Sorry, did I say it's cheap? I meant that it's expensive. Silver is expensive because it's all over the planet, but not very easy to get in useful volumes. It has very low reserves. Silver is expensive because it has low reserves. I may have messed that up, sorry. Lead, on the other hand, is not more common than silver as a percentage of the earth, but it does glob together. Lead melts at a very, very low temperature and it's very, very dense. So it just drops to the bottom of magma, and then whenever it rises out of the earth, it rises in these huge reserves. So lead is not expensive because the reserves are readily available. It's interesting that our planet can scatter some ingredients like silver and aggregate others like lead. And so it's not really interesting how common or rare a resource is. What's more important is how likely are you to find reserves of that resource. My wife and my son just got home, so I'm going to stop this recording.